What's up, folks? Pack up here. Thanks for joining me again today. I wanted to talk a little bit about the early developments of Pokemon. Now, while doing some research on the alpha and beta ideas of Pokemon in the early to mid 90s, I came across a few images. One being this one in particular. It's a book, and at first it looks pretty normal. You know, it looks like a regular Pokemon landscape with Pikachu and well, then I notice a person's floating and that there's someone I do not recognize at all with a bug catcher. So I did a little research and I came up with some pretty interesting findings and I thought I'd share it with y'all. So the book is called Satoshi Tajiri, A Man Who Created Pokemon. Now, for those of you who don't know, Satoshi Tajiri is the creator of Pokemon. And also his buddy Ken Sujimori provided outstanding artwork for most of Tajiri's career. It started in the late '80s, mid to late '80s, when Game Freak was developed, and prior to that, these two came together on a few different levels of creating fanzines for the Japanese culture for games and tips and rules and just ideas and like very well thought out hypotheses on the gaming future because Nintendo was coming up real big in the 80s and gaming was just kind of taken over as a new technology, and these two really came together. So uh, prior to Pokemon, actually, they came up with a few different ideas of things. One of them I'm going to focus on being Pulseman. That's who that is. Pulseman is the man, the little red man with the net. The Pulseman story is actually really interesting. It's about this doctor who basically creates the world's most sophisticated and intelligent artificial intelligence. So basically, to be as close as possible to it, he goes into the computer himself. And while he's in there, winds up having a child with this computer who is Pulseman. So now you have this half cyber, half human child teenager who can both survive outside of the computer world because of his father and inside because of his mother, the artificial intelligence. You have the makings of a really great superhero and a pretty kick ass platforming game. Um, However, once he returns from the artificial intelligence that he created, also fathering his son, he becomes an evil scientist, strongly resembling a Mr. Mime. He's electrically charged, and he has this move called the Voltesser attack, which basically he charges up his energy, and then he's able to ricochet off the surrounding buildings. The weird thing about this is that Voltesser is literally translated into Volt Tackle. It's very similar in both look and effect, and even in the Super Smash Brothers super move of Volt Tackle that Pikachu does very closely resembles that what Pulseman did. Now, Pulseman also looked like a few different Pokemon as well, like physically looked. The design was the same. Also, same designer, Ken Sujimori, designed both Pokemon and Pulseman, the characters at least. So, to start off with, I think Pulseman looks incredibly like Ledian. Now, just the head, the eyes, and the gloves alone would give it away, but the red coloring and just the overall appeal, especially the way it looks in the game, not necessarily the artist renditions of Pulseman, but the game artwork looks exactly like Ledian. I think that he also looks like Bisharp with those very sharp angled hand motions, very Nazi-ish. Uh, Thinking very closely resembles Bisharp, just from top to bottom. I mean, Bisharp's one of those humanoid Pokemon, and I don't think you can get a very much closer resemblance to Pulseman than Bisharp. Pulseman is also said to look a little bit like Rotom, the original Rotom, not one of the weird side types of Rotom. Basically, the head, the coloring, the electric ability, the overall appearance of him looks extremely like Pulseman. Now, on a side note of the Pulseman Rotom connection is that there is a counterpart to Pulseman in the game whose name is Veil. Now, much of the early 90s games had this sort of duo, right? Sonic and Knuckles. Veil was the shiny version of a Pulseman. Looked almost exactly like him. The colors were a little bit different abilities. But when they both did the Volt Tester attack, it's very interesting how both of their colors simulate almost exactly what a Rotom shiny versus a Rotom not shiny would look like. You know, they have the darker orange and the gray on one, and then you have the light blue and the bright orange on the other one. Very, very, very similar. Also, some other characters in Pulseman were very, very similar to some Pokemon that are currently known. One of which was a Stage 3 boss who looks extremely like Remoraid, with maybe a hint of the Mantine-Remoraid duo with the Remoraid underneath the fin of the Mantine kind of shooting out bullets and so forth. Another one was also a enemy on Stage 2, I believe, where there's a enemy who looks extremely like Xatu. It looks a mix between Xatu and one of the ducks from the first Mario when you played Duck Hunter. It looks a combination between them two, but very, very similar indeed. Another one was a later boss who, a spitting image of one of the Regis, specifically Registeel. I think it was an easy adaptation from that. Beatrice was also Pulseman's little sidekick girlfriend thing, you know. I can't remember exactly how she was related to him, but she kind of aided him along his quests in Pulseman throughout the platforming game. And looking at the artist rendition that Ken Sujimori made of Beatrice, it is hard to say that she does not look exactly like a Misty or exactly like a Nurse Joy.
Water can destroy Pulseman!
The last character of Pulseman is Wariyama. Now, that actually sounds a lot like Hariyama. I think that might just be a coincidence, however, wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. Now, again, Wariyama was the doctor, or Pulseman's father, in the game. Also led the team of bandits called Team Galaxy, or the Galaxy Gang. Also very, very familiar.
Pulseman!
I also think he very much resembles a Mr. Mime. The pointy ears, the white gloves, and that sinister little attitude are all Mr. Mime. Especially this very, very final scene where Wariyama basically tries to obliterate his own son by dropping little bombs of himself all over the place. So with the magical twist and the psychic abilities almost, I could very easily see how it was a Mr. Mime inspiration. So yeah, I was very interested in this, and it all came from this specific book that I got. Now, I can't read a lick of Japanese, but I was very, very interested to, read the excerpts in English on alternative sites. But I was very happy to get this book, and I think it adds a lot of credibility to the effort and the basic genius of that is Pokemon. It shows that it had a lot of similarities to other things, and one of the most interesting aspects of gaming is that it is a art. It is a living, breathing art that has been developed by living, breathing people, and these people all had influences, and to see them go from something so bland that didn't take off at all to just make some minor tweaks to it and give it a little heart, you make something great. So anyway, thanks for staying with me, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be having some videos up soon, and my PSA cards should be coming in pretty soon. So thanks for stopping by, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.